Hello everyone and welcome back to Arctic Retro. So it's been a while since I had a mail and donations video, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First is that I actually didn't get anything lately. I have stopped buying that much. You know, prices here in Norway and elsewhere all over the world has risen a lot on everything, so yeah, need to think a little bit more about how I use my money, I guess. So I haven't been getting any particularly interesting things, couple of small things from eBay from China, but I chose not to make a video about that. However, this time I have this package and another one, and this seems a little bit interesting. Hopefully you will think so too. It's a computer that I don't have and I have never had in my possession before, so it's kind of interesting for me. This one I bought from a guy on the Norwegian website finn.no. Actually, I bid on another computer, but I didn't get that one, and then he actually asked me if I was interested in this one instead. Well, it is actually two computers. Let's take a look. Packaging doesn't seem to be all that good, but hopefully it has survived. Yeah, that's the first one. It's a Sinclair Spectrum Plus. I have a couple of ZX80, ZX81 and ZX Spectrum, but that's all the Spectrums I have, and yeah, this one is a ZX Spectrum Plus, a little bit newer and better, and it is supposedly not working and there's a key missing, so that needs fixing obviously. But then the second computer is the most interesting one. Aha, that's a Sinclair QL. So I really wanted this one, and yeah, I didn't pay too much for it. I actually paid 200 euros for these two machines combined. Maybe a little bit expensive, but yeah, not too bad, I guess. And there's a power supply. So the QL has this micro drive, and yeah, it uses small cassettes. And if I'm lucky, I am getting a couple of tapes and something else for this machine. We'll see about that. The machine is quite dirty, even though it's black. I can see there's some dirt around here, and yeah, obviously needs some restoration. Oops, I turned off my light. Obviously it needs some restoration work, which I will most definitely do in some future video. So one of the reasons I am not that keen on making these mail and donations videos is because there isn't a lot of views on those. I don't know, people find it not that interesting. Some people like them, some obviously don't. But if I get anything interesting, I will make videos about that. And here's a couple of these micro drive tapes. This seems to be some productivity software, Quill, Abacus, Archive and eCell. Software by Psion. So it would be interesting to see if those works and if the machine works. I'm not convinced about that. I think he said it was working, but yeah, maybe he just checked that the power light came on, which is usually the case when someone claims the machine powers on. So the Spectrum Plus, it looks alright. This was an improved version of the original ZX Spectrum. It has the same, it has almost the same motherboard. It has 48K, and yeah, this improved keyboard and case. But besides of that, it is just like the original ZX Spectrum. It has a reset button here on the side, and the original Spectrum didn't have that. So I need to find a key. Might see if I can print one on my 3D printer, if I can find the model. If we compare the two machines, we can see that they are kind of similar. The case is the same design style as the QL, and yeah, I'm really interested in testing out this one. Okay, so that's the two computers. Let's take a look at the next package then. Oh. So this next box, it's almost heavier than the first one. This one came from the same seller, so yeah, it's something for the machines, or for the QL machine. Okay, so here's a bunch of stuff. More micro tapes. Quill 2. Here's one here. Not really sure what's on these. Doesn't say. Probably just empty ones. So these are called micro drive tapes, not micro tapes. I have never used these kinds before. So that's really cool. A couple of more tapes. Games, and games, it says. Sinclair QL user guide. This is nice, really nice. Can take a brief look at that and figure out right away how to use this machine. QL stands for Quantum Leap. Then we have this QL Decision Maker brain power software. That's cool. Never heard about it, but yeah, let's take a look inside. Probably some micro drive tapes. There's a binder there. Yeah, so seems like some software to help you make decisions about stuff. Yeah, there's 3 tapes in that. This one I did not expect. He never told me he's gonna send this one. Guess he was happy about getting rid of it. Then there's an add-on card here. What is this? So this is the Miracle Systems Gold Card 2 for the Sinclair QL, and it's an expansion card for the machine. I'll come back to the details about this in a little bit. And here we got another expansion card. Seems to have a lot of RAM chips on it. And in fact, it says Miracle Systems Expanderam. So this is a memory expansion for the Sinclair QL. And then we have this one. This looks a little bit crusty. It's in fact a dual floppy disk drive for the Sinclair QL. Drive 1, drive 2. A little bit rusty on top. Hopefully it's okay inside. It's quite heavy. So it says Kumana, made in Great Britain. 240 volts, 50 hertz. And it has a European power plug, so this has probably been bought in the UK. Then someone has fitted the Norwegian plug and cable to this. And this is the interface cable for it, so that will be cool to test out. There's a cable there, and don't know what that's for. So that was it. 2 nice machines and a lot of extra additional stuff. Gonna be interesting to test this out, see if anything works at all. Curious about these cards. I have looked them up, and yeah. So the Gold Card 2, let's take a look at what that actually is. So I couldn't find a lot of information about this Gold Card 2, but I found some info about just the Gold Card, and it says here it's a card that provides a 68,000 CPU running at 16 MHz, 2 MB of RAM, and it includes a floppy disk interface, many other features including a toolkit ROM and a battery-backed clock. Yeah, so that's really good. That's a quite hefty improvement over the original, I guess. If we take a detailed look at the card, we can see here there's a Toshiba 68000 processor. Don't know what that kind of chip is. That one just says input 6. There's probably a ROM and there's a battery, I guess. And there's 4 RAM chips. So you plug this in the side of the computer and it goes all the way in and disappears from view. So barely fits. Yeah, and there's the floppy disk interface. So I guess then we need that to be able to hook up that floppy drive. Unless it can connect here, which I doubt. It says a ROM. This is the memory expansion card. It's called Expanderam. And it seems like it's just memory expansion and nothing else fancy going on here. It has its own 5-volt voltage regulator. And I thought first it had 8 RAM chips, but in fact there's 2 stacked on top of each other, and they are TMS41256 chips, so that means 8 of these are 256K, and then 16 are 512 kilobytes of RAM expansion on this one. But then if this has 2 megs, why would you need this one? Well, it would be interesting to see if they both work or not. So this video is just a little teaser of videos coming up in the future. However, we need to test the machines, don't we? I'm going to start by testing the Spectrum Plus. It only has RF signal out, so I need to tune in on that, and I need to find a power supply. It's 9-volt DC input, so I have plenty of those. This power supply that came in the box with the machines, it's for the QL. It has a special kind of plug. I have never seen this kind before. So luckily I got that. With the Spectrum Plus, it's just a regular barrel connector. I have this modern here for the ZX. If we compare the machine to the original ZX Spectrum, you can see it's quite larger, at least it's wider. By the way, this one is brand new. It's the one I built myself from motherboard replica a couple of months back. So if you want to see how I built this, then you should check out that video. For the power input, obviously it's important to get the polarity correct. I have this plug here which you can switch around. However, now I don't remember if this is center positive or negative, so there's no marking, and I don't want to take a chance risking anything by just plugging it in. But how can you find out what is negative or positive on the center pin here? Well, you can just use your multimeter and then on the center pin, and then you just find some metal on the, yeah, for example, this is the RF modulator ground. Yeah, and there's continuity. That means that this is center negative. Then I just use voltage DC mode and check if we have negative on the center pin. And yes, we do. So I have a RF cable here. Plug it in. This computer, like the previous model, doesn't have any power switch. So you just plug in the power and it's on. Okay, let's turn on the TV and see if we get anything. The seller said that this machine wasn't working, so it probably isn't. So while we wait on that search, we can take a look at this keyboard. There's a couple of keys that you don't find on the regular ZX Spectrum. You have this true video and inversed video. You also have separate cursor keys, which the original ZX Spectrum didn't have. You had to use some weird combinations of keys to move the cursor around on that, and you have a bigger space key. On the original that was only a small key here on the side, so it was a little bit awkward to type on. Nope, the TV didn't find anything, so this machine is obviously dead. However, it couldn't be anything then. It could be something simple like oxidized or dirty contact for the power input. Just gonna try and clean it up with a little bit of contact cleaner. Nope, that did not help. So yeah, this machine is dead, and now that we know that, I know that I can perhaps make a separate video about this in the future where I attempt to repair it, and that will be interesting. Okay, now let's check out the QL, and this was released in 1984. It was not a success. It was meant for the business market. It has a lot of unknown connectors here, for me at least. There's net and net. And then there's serial ports, serial 1, serial 2, control 1, control 2, and ROM. And it has a dedicated RGB output. That's probably what that cable was for. However, I don't have a monitor that supports the same kind of contact, I think. But there's probably a possibility to make one that goes to SCART. I'll look into that in another video, I guess. So just gonna hook this up as well to the RF output. Before I connect the power supply, I'm just gonna check the voltage on this rather unusual connector. Yeah, 10.5611 volts. I guess that's safe. It's probably supposed to be 9 volts DC. This one too, it doesn't have a power on switch, so just hooking up. Let's see now. Well, we have a yellow power LED shining bright now, so at least there's some life in it. Do a quick channel search again. This machine looks very nice. Yeah, a little bit dirty, of course, and yeah, a little bit of scuff marks here and there, but since it's black, then it doesn't show that well. Needs a good cleaning, obviously. So this machine originally came with a 68008 CPU. That's a special kind of 68000 CPU. It only has a 8-bit data bus and some other limitations compared to the 68000 CPU. And it has originally 128 kilobytes of RAM. The CPU is running at 7.5 megahertz. Yeah, and as we know, it has 2 micro drives as storage. It has a dedicated graphics chip called the ZX8301, and it has an Intel 8049 sound chip. So that's kind of special. I haven't come across those ever, I think. And those network ports, it's in fact some proprietary QLAN local area network, and the other 2 are joysticks ports. Yeah, it found one analog channel, so yeah, there's hope here. Yes, look at that. There's a lot of noise on the audio, but yeah, gonna turn that down. So, well, copyright 1983 Sinclair Research Limited. So it prompts you for F1 monitor, F2 TV, and we have a TV. Okay, so I heard the micro drive spin up. So I must admit, I don't know a lot about this QL machine and how you operate it. Of course, I'm gonna find more about that sometime later when I start working with this machine. But yeah, I'm just gonna Google and figure out how to show the directory of a microdrive cartridge. I'm gonna insert one of the ones that has games on it. I guess they just go in and you just push them right in, nothing more fancy than that. Okay, just push it in and then it's in. Let's figure out how to load the directory here. So the picture suddenly started to flicker a lot and become bad, in fact. So Don't know if something happened here with the machine. However, the command for listing the content of a microdrive should be dir and then mdv1 or 2 underscore, I think. Yeah, and the drive span up, but not found. Let's try dir mdv2 then. Yeah, that's spun too, but not found. Okay, now something's happening. I switched to another micro drive tape in the drive number 2, and I wrote dir mdv2, and now it's spooling through the whole tape. So well, now it has been spooling for around 3-4 minutes. Doesn't seem like it's going to stop. Not really sure how long time this is supposed to take. If you know, then please write a comment below. Okay, I tried another tape and it's the same there. It just spools forever. However, in drive 1 it just says not found. Also now the picture, the signal completely disappeared. I can't get it back anymore. So I think this machine has some issues. I mean, with the drives, it could obviously be bad tapes or a bad drive. There's probably some head that needs cleaning. Yeah, maybe there's some belts that needs to be replaced. I don't know. And with the video output was good in the beginning, but then after a while it started to deteriorate. So maybe it's a bad RF modulator on this machine. Maybe it needs some new caps or something. I mean, when things start to heat up, things can change in those circuits. So maybe we have a case with that. I'm gonna leave it off now to cool it down and see if the picture comes back again. Yes, in fact, leaving it off a couple of minutes, then the picture came back. And now it seems like this drive struggled. It just spun up a little bit and then it made a sorry noise. Okay, the keyboard is working okay. Yeah. Gonna figure out a little bit more. How do we go into basic with this? Okay. 10 print. And as usual, I don't know how to delete a key. I can use the cursor key and then type over. Yeah, so that's how you type in basic. You just type it and run. Okay, pretty colorful. Alright, that was it for this video. Obviously there's more work to be done with these machines that I will of course do in other videos in the future. Maybe not that long into the future, we'll see about that. Didn't check out the floppy drive. It's rusty and crusty. I think I need to clean it up a little bit first, but that's also gonna come later. So thanks a lot for watching, and special thanks to my Patreons. See you, bye bye.